What's good, everybody? Welcome to Motivation with your main man, Uncle Drew. Sorry I missed you all. We had to celebrate our pastor's wonderful birthday and anniversary with his lovely wife, Mrs. Epps. But I just wanted to say it's good to see you all again for Motivation with Uncle Drew. We're going to jump right in it today. Today we're going to be in Matthew 25, and we're going to be starting at verse 14. And thinking about Matthew 25, I automatically thought about this word, something I'm being tested with, something I'm always having to ask myself over and over and over again. Is Drewski, Uncle Drew, are you faithful with what God has given you? Are you faithful whether you have a little bit, whether you have a lot? When I have a lot of money and when I don't have any money, will I still be faithful to what God has equipped me, placed in me, and called me to do? So let's walk through the story of Matthew 25, verse 14. One day there was this business owner. He owned McDonald's, right? He owned McDonald's. And he had 3 workers. And he said, you know what, guys? I'm going to go out of town with my family for 2 weeks. And when I come, and I'm going out of town for 2 weeks, and I'm going to leave you each with something to make more of, okay? So he gave Jonathan 5 burgers, he gave Wilson 2 burgers, and he gave Miranda 1 burger, right? So he went on his vacation to Hawaii. He was having fun with his family, and I forgot the first name, Jonathan, with his 5 burgers, right? When the boss came back, Jonathan said, okay, you gave me 5 burgers, and I came back with 5 more burgers, so he had a total of 10 burgers. He added and multiplied with what was given to him. And then we have Wilson, who had the 3 burgers. I think I said 3, 2 or 3, whatever, whichever one you want to choose. It's besides the point. But 2 or 3 burgers. And he came back with 3 extra burgers, so he had a total of 6 burgers. But then we have Miranda, who had the 1 burger, who came back with Nathaniel. She had nothing. She made an excuse. She said, I was afraid. I didn't know he was going to come back. I didn't know if he was really going to come. I didn't know if the business was going to shut down. So I decided to hold on to it so I can keep this little thing inside of me because I was scared. What do you think the boss said to the 3 people? So let's start with Jonathan, the one who had 5 burgers. He multiplied and came back with 5 more, so he had a total of 10. The boss said, you know what, Jonathan, you are faithful. I am proud of you. You have been faithful over the little I have given you. You made it work. You didn't make any excuses. So come on and turn up with me. Then we had Wilson. The same thing was told to Wilson. But what happened to Miranda? He fired Miranda. She didn't have no job because he was displeased with her because she wasn't obedient and do what was asked of her. Now, this scripture here is speaking about the judgment that is coming at the end of the world, when the world ends, the judgment day. And when we will all be judged for what we have done. And God is going to see if we have been faithful, if we have been doing everything that we were supposed to do on earth, being obedient to him before he comes back. Each and every human being is going to have to face this judgment. But quickly, I thought about this, thinking about the story. It's the story of the talents. Talents are, which in the story was talking about the boss gave them money, but we can translate that and for us, make it a little more applicable to us and say the gifts we have. God has given us each a measure of gifting. He has given us something that we all can use to glorify him. So we can think about our talents, our gifts, but most importantly, our time. And I want to ask us, what are we doing with our time that God has given us that's precious, that can be a blessing to us? What are we doing with our time? And like the people who the boss said, you have been faithful over a little, faithful over a few things. And I want to ask this question. Will Jesus say that about you? Will you be like Miranda in the story? Will you be like that person who was like, okay, I gave this person this gift. I gave this person the ability to sing. I gave this person the ability to do this or that. But you know what? You chose not to use it. You chose not to do anything because you wanted to be selfish and use it for yourself. You didn't feel like it. You was lazy. Oh, because in the Bible, he called that servant, he said, you are slothful, which means you are lazy. Like a sloth. You know, they move very slow. Y'all seen Zootopia, you know, very slow. He said, you were lazy, basically. You procrastinated, and I was gone for this amount of time, and you didn't multiply anything I gave you. You didn't help any strangers. You wasn't kind to anybody. You didn't get up and speak that word when I asked you, when I put it on your heart to do it. I equipped you with a gift to speak, to publicly speak, and you didn't do any of it. And two things will happen to the person who is faithful and to the one who is unfaithful. The faithful one, it says he will have the joy. He had the joy with the master. The master welcomed him in and said, come on and have fun with me. Come on and turn up with me. I am pleased with you. I am thankful for you. So you are able to come in and celebrate with me. And what this scripture in Matthew 25 is saying is in the end, to the ones who are faithful, the faithful and the unfaithful will be separated. You know if you're faithful or not. You know what keeps you faithful. You know what keeps you unfaithful. Only God and ourselves truly know if we're faithful or not. So the faithful one will be able to go into the kingdom and have eternal fun, an eternal turn up with God forever and ever. That means we will be with him eternally in heaven, whatever that will look like. But the one who is unfaithful, this person, Jesus will say to this person, depart from me because I never knew you. You didn't use what I given you. You didn't believe in me. You intentionally rejected me and chose not to live for me. And although it may hurt me, although I created you for a purpose, you chose not to use it, so depart from me, because I never knew you. You never represented me when you had the time. Now, we can take this, you have been faithful over a little. We can take that and say, you know, even when nobody shows up to my events, will I still be faithful? Yes. When I make my lemonade and I want to sell it and nobody comes to my lemonade stand, will I still be faithful and still make it because I believe in myself? Yes. But I want to dig a little deeper. With the time you're giving when nobody is looking, when nobody sees you, when it's just you and yourself, are you faithful to God? And that's what I want to leave us with and encourage us during this pandemic, because it never left, but I think we kind of acted as if it was gone, and now it's like it's surging. It's like about to get crazy. So as we hit this, if we hit a lockdown or whatever happens, will you still be faithful? Will you still seek after him? Will you still pray? Will you still do those things? Be kind to others and love others. Remember, love God and love others. Love is the greatest gift of all. But I would say, I don't want to be like the servant in Matthew 25. I don't want to be like the one who was given one talent, but he didn't produce anything. He kept it in. Whether if God gives me one talent, whether if he gives me 3, whether if he gives me 5, I'm going to be thankful with what he has given me, and I'm going to make sure I glorify him what he has given me, and I'm going to multiply it. And you multiply it by using it. You multiplying it by giving your gifts and sharing it with others and sharing it with the world. You know what's inside of you. Others may not know, others may not see it, but I will say, you know what's inside of you. So will you hear, I am pleased with you because you have been faithful with what I have given you? Or will you hear, depart from me, I never knew you? Electric Kids, I hope you all are having a great school year. I hope you all are having a blessed week and weekend. It's good to see you all, and I want to tell you something. Okay? Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready? Okay. With God, everything is me.